Okay, here we go. Create new world. Let's call it GOJIWORLD. Survival, hard, no cheats, and large biomes. And we're gonna use a random seed for this. Let's do it. This is so interesting. I have no idea what to expect. I hope it's not a desert. Okay, beach. It looks like plains. All right, we can work with this. All right, well, without further ado, hello there. My name is Goji. Welcome to my brand new single player world. I'm so excited to be doing this. This is actually my first YouTube video ever. And I decided to start a single player series. This is the very first video on my channel. I recently got an upgrade, kind of in my hardware. I've wanted to make a channel for a long time. I wanted to make content for a long time, but I just really haven't had the hardware to do it. So this is it, you know, I got the right stuff and I'm really excited to be doing this. Let's break down the stream. So I guess I'll talk a little bit about the series. So I'm a builder primarily. I have some technical expertise. I like doing technical builds and building farms sometimes, but mostly what I'm interested in doing is building. And the goal of this series is, well, to do exactly that. I want to create some really immersive builds. I want to experiment with new styles. I want to challenge myself, and I want to learn as much as I can and improve as much as I can when it comes to building. And I think that doing so in a Let's Play format is going to be great because it's going to allow me to also learn how to grow as a content creator and do everything kind of all at once. Let's get a little bit of stone. I'm just going to get like maybe like 32 stone. Let's get like half a stack. So fun fact, this is actually also like the third day ever that I'm playing on PC. I've played on MacBooks. I've played on Mac pretty much the entire time that I've been playing Minecraft seriously. I mean, that's probably 5 years now of just MacBooks. So I'm used to a trackpad. I'm also used to not using the scroll function and using the numeric keys on my keyboard to change my tools. So I'm getting used to so many new mechanics, and it's kind of an adjustment. I have a, you know, kind of a keyboard now that's kind of clunky. So it's fun to just sort of see how weird my control of the game is now that I don't really have the same kind of tools that I've had, you know, this whole time. Okay, cool. I think we have enough stone. And we got an apple. That'll help out. Let's, what did I do with the crafting table? There it is. Okay, let's make a few tools here. I'm going to start with the stone pick, stone axe, sword, and then maybe I'll even go for a shovel. I think that'll be a good call. Okay, so I think the #1 goal is probably to see if I can find a village. If I can't, you know, it's not the end of the world. I think I'll be able to survive without one, but like at some point I'm gonna need villagers. Ah, come here. So I'd really like to start with a village because I think that that's, I mean, you know, like any playthrough, it's gonna help a lot early game. Okay, there's a village. And savanna, okay, I keep calling it acacia biome. So it's a savanna village, definitely has hay bales, or typically has hay bales at least. So that should give us a little bit of early game food. Looks like I'm gonna need it at the rate that I keep taking damage. Alright, so let's run over there and see what we can do. This will be a great place to just kind of start out and put a bed in a room and make the most of it. So another thing you saw me do is I selected large biomes. I actually was going back and forth in my mind the past couple of weeks about whether or not I wanted to do large biomes for a playthrough. And originally, I think I was finally came to the decision that I wasn't going to do it. But BOO came out with his Building with B-Dub season, this new season, just I think yesterday, maybe 2 nights ago. I don't recall exactly, but he did large biomes, and I was watching him play in large biomes and kind of see really, I think, the dramatic difference it makes in the gameplay. But he made this kind of a really key point, and this is the kind of key thing that I gravitate towards when I was considering which one to do, which is immersion, right? So ultimately, when you have large biomes, you have this effect that everywhere on the horizon is the same biome that you started with. I mean, we can look up here, if I can manage to put this pit together. If you just look around, I mean, pretty much 360 degrees is all acacia. I don't really think that's something that you get in your standard settings of vanilla Minecraft. It is, I think, really immersive. I think it helps with just feeling like you are in your own world, and your builds really, I think, reflect that, because it just feels so much different. So that's ultimately what I came down to, and his series really drove that home for me and just made me feel like, okay, I absolutely have to do it now. I can't watch his series and not do it. Okay, let's see if we can get one more villager down there. I don't know if there's any in the immediate vicinity who would be willing to pathfind that far, but maybe if I break a couple more workstations. It sounds like somebody's at the cartographer. Yeah, there he is. Okay, let me break your workstation. Maybe it's close enough that you'll pathfind over there. Oh no, you want to pathfind to the other cartographer house. Okay, welcome back. I have a little bit of farming infrastructure set up. I think you can see it behind me. So just a super basic sugarcane crop field. Hopefully over some time I'll be able to fill this little patch up. And yeah, I think if I fill this up, that'll be pretty decent. Even already I have 30 stalks in the ground, so I should have a pretty decent capacity that's going to help me out. And I planted these. I don't really have any bone meal to speed it up, or else I would be, so that's just kind of where they're going to stay for now. All right, I think I'm ready to go caving. I wasn't really paying attention. I don't have any cave locations in mind at this second, but I mean, surely they won't be hard to find. I mean, it looks like there might be one under my feet right now. So let me get the right gear, make sure my spawn point is set, and then let's get started. I have been kind of quietly caving pretty successfully. Maybe about a half hour now. I'm running low on food, and I don't really think I can do anything about that. I think I have like 1 bread and 4 steak, so I won't be able to be down here much longer. Um, I have, however, found my first diamond, so I would say that's, good news. I turned hitboxes on because I am, honestly, yeah, I'm kind of, tensions are high. Tensions are high down here. I haven't had too many close calls, which I'm happy about. I've been really good about my shield. I don't usually I don't normally use a shield, which I guess I'm not really alone. Most people don't, except out of the early game. So I'm not the best with shield strats, but I've gotten better at it, which I'm happy to say. Look at that, diamond number 1. Hopefully I can get a few more before I run out of food. I'm really hoping I get a few more. Oh, looks like if I do get a few more, it's not going to be from that vein. All right, I'm going to keep going. We'll see what I can do. Welcome back to the village. It is the next day IRL. So let's check out the progress that we made. So when we left off, I was just wrapping up a big caving trip, and I got a few diamonds, so I used those to make a pick. I got some redstone, some iron. I've got more of it smelting, and yeah, good amount of coal. I'd like to have more coal, but that's not bad. And then, yeah, so I was able to use the leather and the sugarcane that I've been farming to have kind of a mini enchantment set up. So nothing fancy here yet. I didn't have enough for very many bookshelves, and I also don't have a good source of XP, so just a few bookshelves for now. And yeah, I was able to get a little bit of enchantment going on my armor. Mainly this diamond pick. That's the one I think that's going to be really useful. So the mission for now is to work on villagers a little bit. So I want to try and get some stick trading set up, see if I can get, a few items. I want to, try and get maybe a couple of librarians. You all know the drill, I'm sure. I mean, that's kind of the theme. I mean, nothing here in this super early game is particularly special. Just gotta kind of put the grind in. So I think I'm gonna do this next bit in a replay time lapse. So let's see how that turns out. I'll be back when I've made some progress. Okay, so progress is slow on villagers. Let's check it out. Let's see what I've done so far. I have not much, but I basically started digging out an area. I'm gonna put them in these little stalls, and I have them breeding. So I have them down the hall here, just kind of separate from everybody else. In this room. So they're all breeding and getting ready to go. And then hopefully soon I should have enough that I can start filling in these kind of cells. Yeah, and by the way, if you're wondering why it's so ugly, it's because I really don't care about making it pretty. I mean, I've done a lot of villager trading halls in the past, and I kind of have this like love-hate relationship with villagers, where on the one hand, they kind of are awful to work with and they're very annoying. But on the other hand, it's very satisfying. Like after you kind of spend some time working with them and you have a really good villager trading setup, it's really satisfying. And I think I kind of crave that satisfaction sometimes. But yeah, I don't want to do that this time around. I think I was doing villager trading not too long ago, and so I'm at a point where I'm just kind of like, I want the bare essentials. I want something that's going to give me experience points. I want something that's going to give me emeralds, books. You get the idea. So nothing too robust, just the essentials. And that's why I don't really care if it's ugly or pretty. I'm honestly just, I want a hole in the ground where I put a few of them, and I don't really have to think too much about it. Especially given that it is, let's see, what day is it? Day 16 in this world. Yeah, I don't have too many resources, so I can't really be expending a ton of them on a project, kind of, you know, in the ground at this stage. So. But that does raise another question, which is that I want to make a pumpkin and melon farm. So as you can see here, I've already started collecting some pistons. I've got lots of redstone to work with, and we're running a little bit low on iron, but maybe I can work on that later. Anyway, I digress. I want to start working on a pumpkin and melon farm, but to do that, I need some observers. And of course, observers, nether quartz. So that means it is time to go to the nether. Let me see if I've got a flint and steel in here. Oh, well, I don't think I have one, but I can make one pretty easily. Cool. Alright, let's see what the nether spawn looks like. I reserve the right to turn around and come right back through the portal, but I think I'm ready to at least give it a try. So maybe I'll make the portal... Not enough room in there. Maybe I'll make the portal over here in the cartographer's house. Oh, and by the way, I got this obsidian just from some lava pools. So way over there is another village. And it's kind of funny because we've already found 2 villages in that direction. There's another 4th village in this direction. It's just maybe a little bit further on the other side of the fog. So I was able to find a nearby beach biome that has like 3 lava pools. So I just got the obsidian, you know, pretty much diamond pick, you know, soak all the obsidian and soak all the lava blocks, and you get a bunch of obsidian. Not that it's too important, but yeah, that happened in between recordings. All right, let's check it out. Okay. Definitely not a fan of there being a bastion right there. Somebody gonna come out and try to kill me? Doesn't look like it. Okay, welcome back. It is now 2 days later, IRL, after I last kind of updated and did some recording. In the time since, I've just been kind of AFKing here and getting some pumpkins and melons, and then I have been, you know, crafting those and doing a little bit of villager trading. So I have... you know, a good surplus of supplies here, and I've been using that to mostly get experience. There's a bug, actually, in 1.18, which I think they fixed literally as of today's snapshot. Today's Wednesday. Um, and the bug is that whenever you have blocks, in this case it was the red terracotta blocks, on top of the bookshelf didn't count towards the enchanting table. So as you can see here, I have tons and tons of bookshelves. I kept wondering, I'm like, why am I only getting like 22 levels out of the enchanting table? Right now I finally got it up to 30 after adding way more bookshelves than I needed to. But yeah, it was very frustrating, and that's why I honestly was just trading for experience levels and then trying again and, rinse and repeat. But finally I was able to get it to work, and I got a good fortune pick, and this one is still the same. It's just efficiency 3, but we can upgrade that later. So, what is on the agenda? I mean, we've done a lot of work, and we're getting close to wrapping up episode 1. Well, my initial plan was to have my starter base build in episode 1, and okay, so I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is I have a design for the starter base. I didn't have that 2 days ago, so I have that now. That's what I did pretty much all evening yesterday. I have a design, but the bad news is that it's not really a starter build so much as a mega base. It ended up kind of blowing out of proportion, and it's really big. Now, I really like the design, and I'm definitely going to build it, but I'm just not going to have time to do it in this first episode of the series. I'm going to have to start next time. But that's okay, because we still have a lot of work to do. So I think for the remainder of this episode, what I want to do is try and get a few more starter farms set up. In particular, I want to see if I can automate wool. I want a few shades of wool, because I have the design in hand. I know what it's going to look like, the starter base, that is. So I want to see if I can get lots of wool, because I'm going to need that for the build. And I also want to spend some time really working on building up my wood collection, because I'm going to need a lot of, specifically birch. So that's what I want to do for the remainder of this episode. We're just going to do a little bit of grinding, and we'll see how well it goes. And yeah, I'll check in after we make some progress. So here we go. Okay, so lots of progress on the sheep farm. Let's take a look. It's nothing special, just 8 sheep. I'm working on kind of filling in their dye colors. I haven't quite turned it on yet. But we have run into a bit of an issue. So the only color I have left that I kind of haven't collected and that I need for the next build is cyan. I need a lot of cyan wool. Now, of course, you can't get cyan dye without green dye, and that, of course, means we need some cactus. We need to go to the desert. So that, I think, calls for some exploration. Now, I think we did get a pretty decent seed, I guess, because we spawned in a warm biome, the savanna, which means that we probably have a desert biome not far away. And, yeah, how are we going to find it? Well, that, unfortunately, is where we're going to have to do a little bit of cheating. So, by cheating, I don't mean anything game-breaking, right? I don't mean I'm gonna, use commands to spawn in a mega build with World Edit or something like that. No. By cheating, I mean chunk base. Because I really like the idea. I like the philosophy of spawning into a world and, not really using any outside tools whatsoever to kind of gain an advantage, and just kind of explore and find everything on your own. And I like that philosophy. I admire that philosophy a lot, and I think that there's definitely a universe where if I had a lot more patience, I could be following a single-player world kind of along those guidelines. But I don't have that much patience, and I don't really want to spend too much time looking for the essential biomes, because ultimately, because of the large biome setting, it there's a pretty decent chance that the nearest desert could be tens of thousands of blocks away, and ultimately I don't want to just kind of put that fate, or sort of put that that difficulty, that chore, all in my hands to comb, you know, tens of thousands of blocks of a radius. So let's pull this seed up on chunk base. So let me go ahead and pull it up here if I can type. So let's just grab that. And let's see what the seed looks like on chunk base. I'm very curious to see what we're gonna find. Okay, so let's see what our seed looks like here on chunk base. So we have large biomes, 1.18. Now let's take a look. So I think we spawned in about here. Right there, or maybe over here, right? Kind of on the edge of the forest and the plains. Now, if we come down here, I think our village, our starter area, is probably in this neighborhood. So this is the beach biome that I've been using to get sand and using to get lava. And it looks like our nearest desert is right down here on the southern end of the coast. So that's going to be what I have to check out. Now, initially, when I look at this map, the first thing I want to say is like, oh, that's not too bad. This is where I spawn in. This is where the desert biome is. But I think the sense of scale is really misleading. So here is about, you know, looking at the coordinates, it's about, you know, 250, 1,000. The desert, this closest tip of the desert biome is all the way down here at about -300, about 3,000. So this is a full 2,000 blocks distance, and you know, not including the distance in the x direction, which is probably about you know, negative 500, negative 700, something like that. So that's actually a pretty massive distance, all things considered. But this does beg the question of what does the seed look like outside of this area? So this is kind of the peninsula that we're starting on, and I'm very curious what it looks like outside of there. So I did take a look at this earlier. And I noticed that there's a huge jungle biome. I mean, look at this jungle biome. Between sparse jungle, bamboo jungle, and all of those variants of the jungle biome, you have this massive land area. And also over here, less interesting, but still just kind of remarkable, is this plains biome. I mean, it is just massive. You have a little bit of meadow, plains. It is a huge area. I mean, from up here, that's about z equals -9,000 all the way down here to z equals 100. So this is a, you know, practically a 10,000 block long swath of plains. I mean, it really puts into scale how big the large biomes are. They really meant it when they said large biomes. So it does look like the kind of closest biome to us is this desert. And I'm really excited to have this Badlands, this mesa, pretty close by. Now the Z value is still, I mean, if you look at it right here, kind of in the closest area to where I am, the Z value is still 7,000. So it's kind of incredible how far away it is, even though it is relatively close in the grand scheme of things because of how big the biomes are. So I'm going to have to make a trip here eventually, and same here to get some dark oak. I mean, it is kind of crazy to think about. I know I keep saying it's crazy, but to put it in the sense of scale, the closest dark oak tree is practically 10,000 blocks away from where I spawned. That's not easy, you know, not having elytra yet. So I think, without getting too distracted in the chunk-based rendering of the map, our next mission is to go down here to the desert. So let's see if we can find our way down there, and I'll tell you what I find. Okay, the desert trip was successful. I didn't get much except a little bit of cactus and some iron from a nearby village. But in the meantime, as you can see, if I don't run into a tree, I tamed this horse, because I've managed to collect a couple of saddles from various villager loot chests, and I haven't really put those to use, so I actually tamed a fairly fast horse, I think. Oh no. Oh no! But I don't have a lead yet, which makes crossing even small rivers kind of a pain. I think the way I came was right here. Yeah, there we go. So if I can just, here, maybe I can get a running start and see how fast I can jump. Oh no, okay, that didn't work. Just try to keep it above water. Oh, it's a pain. But, you know, eventually I'll get a lead and this will be less of an issue. But, yeah, even with a horse, I think it still takes me probably close to 10 minutes to clear the acacia biome alone and get me to the banks across which the desert sits. It's not a very big desert. It's not really interesting. But I was able to get just a few cactuses, and I only need one for now just to dye the sheep, and then the rest I can plant in some sand and continue to grow them. So at some point I'll probably make a proper cactus farm, but I don't really see that in the cards right now because I do need a little bit of cyan dye for cyan concrete for the build, but I'm not too worried about that just now. I'm not going to make a mega farm. Maybe later I'll make it if it continues to be something that I need a lot of or I need huge quantities of. Here's another impasse. This one is also annoying. This is one of the many villages. I mean, I think this is honestly a pretty cracked area in terms of villages. I think there's upwards of 10 that I've found so far. I mean, I don't know if I've shown all of them on camera, but I think this acacia biome alone, just in the immediate vicinity, has, you know, probably 4 or 5, including that one. And then the plains biome on the north end, closer to spawn, also has a village that I would have seen right at the beginning of the playthrough, except I just didn't look over to my east and I didn't see it. So there's and also a desert village down there and like 2 more acacia villages to the south, closer to the desert. So between all of those combined, I think there's easily 10 villages in, you know, the 3,000 blocks or so around spawn. It's pretty crazy, all things considered. I think it's pretty lucky. You know, I think this seed isn't too bad. I think with the large biomes, you run the risk of having, you know, the nearest jungle, for example, being 20,000 blocks away from spawn. And we don't have that, you know, it's closer to about 10,000 blocks for the mesa, for the jungle, and for mountains, which is not terrible. I mean, it's a bit of a hike, but I don't plan on really commuting back and forth too much. So, yeah. I think it's all pretty good. So I'm going to take a moment to get all of this sorted and start a small cactus farm. And then when that's all said and done, I'll be back. Okay, so the sheep farm is all finished. I have the kind of very small cactus patch set up. I'm going to slowly work on expanding that and harvesting the cactuses. Now, I think I'm just about ready to wrap up today's episode with the one final thing that I want to do, which is actually pick out a location for what I think is going to shape up to be my mega base, or my main base at least. I mean, we're going to be doing a lot of building a lot of structures, and I wouldn't really say that I'm going to be pinned down to one location precisely, but this will definitely be my first large structure and a good place for me to set up some more permanent storage. Now, location I think is going to be really important. I want this to be sort of situated on a hill so that I can have a higher elevation and use that sort of as a viewpoint for the area around. Now, this hill, which is really close by to the village, isn't terrible, but I want to maybe look at another couple of options. Oh, maybe this is the hill I was thinking of. Yeah, this is a really good-looking hill. It's got that sharp kind of cliff right there. That would be a really good kind of place to sort of situate part of the build on. Yeah, I think I like this area more than the one over by the starter village. This might be the best option. Yeah, and look at the view. I mean, you can see a really good 360-degree view of the savannah. And it's a fairly tall, fairly kind of wide peak. I'll have to do a little bit of flattening. I'll bring down the top altitude maybe 5 blocks, just to kind of have something that's a slightly larger base, because it's not a small build, that's for sure. It's going to take up a lot of area. Yeah, so I definitely think this is where I want it to go. And we also have a village down there. I don't even know if I've explored that one yet. I can't really zoom in because the horse's head. And we've got this village back here. So those, I think, would be really good starting points if I wanted to expand the palace. It actually is a palace. I know I set out to build a starter house, and I ended up building a mega palace. So I think these would be great places to expand on if I wanted to kind of, you know, do some low-effort surrounding townships that don't require me to build a city from scratch. These could be some places that I could use for kind of inspiration and starting purpose. So yeah, I definitely think this is the location right here. All right, now, with all of that in hand, all the progress today, we haven't done any building today, unfortunately, but you know what? That's okay, because I don't want to rush things. I want to take it all kind of one day at a time, and just build small increments of progress. But I think we've made a ton of progress today. I have a few villagers, and I have the infrastructure to expand the villager setup. I have pumpkin melon farm, wool farm, I've got a small cactus patch, and I've managed to acquire spruce saplings, which is a big achievement. So this was a great episode for me. I hope you all enjoyed watching, and if you did enjoy watching, please subscribe, like the video. It really helps out, especially since I'm just starting this channel. And yeah, look forward to making a lot more content, and I look forward to expanding this world. Hopefully in the next episode we'll be able to make some significant progress on the palace. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it turns out. All right, well, yeah, with that, I'm going to leave you. Have a great day.